Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having a great Sunday. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. Just to answer some FAQs, the platform that I'm using today to do my analysis on is called TD Ameritrade, or it's called Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. Feel free to check it out if you guys are going to be asking questions about it and stuff like that. I have videos on YouTube all about it. But altogether, what is a Sunday Stock Talk? A Sunday Stock Talk is when we come together as a group and we talk and plan out the top stocks that we're paying attention to for this overall up and coming week. So I'm going to go ahead and make my screen a little bit smaller, and let's go ahead and get this started. So this is not necessarily the top stocks that I personally see value in. These are the top stocks that our team, right? Learn, Plan, Profit, or TechBot Solutions. This is where you're just gonna share whatever it is that you are, seeing value in, and then all you do is share it, right? So subscribe my channel. So that's a very quick way to get blocked. I like it. Currently in Tesla. Wish me good luck for the open. Okay. Let's see. Let's check this out. Yeah, let's go ahead and get right to it. So I'm just gonna start doing some technical analysis on the stocks that you guys start sharing in the ticker call out format, and that's really just it. If you guys have any questions, very open-ended questions and stuff like that, I'll answer those towards the end of this video. But yep, that's really just it. So. Okay, so I'm trying to read your guys' messages, but I'm getting distracted when doing it. So again, the stocks that we talk about today are in no way any stock suggestions. You should never trade based on other people's opinion, and you always want to make sure that you have a plan when it comes down to investing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start breaking these down, and let's get to it. So I really do hope you guys enjoy, and on top of that, I really do hope that you guys at least learn something new as well. So. All right, let's check this out. So we got Christopher with ticker symbol ESTY, or ETSY, yeah. ETSY, here we go. Okay, and feel free to break these down and share your opinion or why not you would consider investing in these. So this is ETSY overall in this 180-day chart for this SMA line. I like to understand its overall direction. So for Etsy, right, it's been showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. It wasn't until it broke below the SMA indicator that it really started to break its pattern and almost make lower lows, right? It's been trying to recover ever since. One of the things and the reason that we have these videos for the Sunday Stock Talk is because we want to make sure that we focus on what's the whole focus of an active watch list. What's the whole focus of having these Sunday Stock Talks? What's the whole focus of having a watch list for the top stocks that I see value in this week, right? Whatever's actively trending up. And as of right now, ETSY, yes, it's showing signs of it being a little bit more on the oversold side. Great. It just doesn't really make much sense to me on why it would be a great investment right now. And just to put into perspective, its overall direction just isn't showing signs of an uptrend as of right now. So I would consider adding this one, if anything, to my pending reversal watch list, but it would not be my main focus just due to its overall pullback and descending pattern that's shown right now with the MACD and the RSI. It just isn't in my favor. So what I'll do is I'll set an alert when it breaks again above near $45 just to get a little bit more of confirmation of an uptrend. But other than that, I would pretty much stay away as of right now. So let's go ahead and see what else is being talked about. So we got Ahmed calling out ticker symbol Gush. Let's check this out. Okay, ticker symbol Gush. What do you guys think about GUSH? Overall support right around $30, right? Based off previous patterns. So good deal and not a good buy. Can you explain that on what we mean by good deal but not a good buy? We've talked about this multiple times. So good deal, right? How could something be a good deal but not a good purchase or investment as of right now? So based off previous patterns, you can see that it's bounced around this $30 area price range multiple times. Once, twice, and now it's approaching this price range. So it's a previous support level. That makes sense on why people find the current price point to be somewhat attractive, somewhat of a good deal, right? But why is it not a good investment? No confirmation. It's not uptrending. How do you know that? Well, it's been getting rejected by this EMA line, so it continues to make lower lows and lower highs as well. So overall, the pattern and the direction based on its current pattern is down. And again, if your sole focus is to grow your account, then you want to make sure that you invest in something that, its direction is up, right? When it makes higher highs, that's an attractive pattern and direction, at least in my eyes, right? As of right now, we don't know if it's going to actually bounce at $30 again. We can assume that, yes, it could potentially bounce here based off of previous patterns, but there is no confirmation. So you run the risk of getting in too early and then it continuously selling off. And again, that's a risk of buying before the confirmation too. So because of that, I do find, Gush to be at that good buy price point, good deal range, but not a good buy as of right now. I'm also going to set my alert for the overall reversal, and because of that, I'm just going to add it to my active watch list because it's so close to that specific support. So it's something that I can watch a little bit closer moving on to the beginning of this week. So the next one is ticker symbol GoPro. Okay, now looking at GoPro, what do we see? Look at the RSI. Look at the MACD, right? Look at this peak formation, right? So it bounced here, right? Sold off, was getting rejected by this EMA line, descending pattern, lower lows, boom, bounces, pushes up, pulls back, confirms an uptrend pattern, and then reaches a resistance right around $7, and the MACD looks overextended, the RSI looks overextended, all that good stuff, right? So now we're seeing that it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, so I'll set my alert here. But ultimately, again, is this the best deal that I can get right now for GoPro? No, probably not. Closer to $6 makes a little bit more sense. Right now, we're a little bit in the higher sixes. So because of that, I would identify this to be a little bit more on the overbought side than oversold. So not so much of a good deal, so maybe not the best investment. So I'm just going to set my alerts and then move on from there. I already have this one under my pending reversal watch list, so I don't have to add it there. So what does overextended RSI and MACD mean? So I really do appreciate you asking those questions. These are all videos that I have on YouTube. You could search up my name. You could search up MACD. You could search up RSI, EMA, all the different indicators that you use, the VWAP indicators. All that is shared already on YouTube. NIHD. Okay. So what is it that we like about NIHD? So the overall 180-day chart looks pretty solid, right? The 1 day, 1 minute chart trading between the middle VWAP and top VWAP indicator. 5 day, 5 minute has continuously tried to make higher highs based on Friday's pre-market highs right around 6:30. We can see that it's approaching that general resistance, so that makes sense. What do you guys think? That's a great way to get blocked. Very mature. Love it. Okay. So a couple of you are saying, let's wait for the pullback and stuff like that. Nice. So again, there's no right or wrong answer necessarily, right? It's whatever you feel most comfortable doing. And that's one thing that you're going to experience as time goes on. In my honest opinion, based on previous patterns, so look at this, right? We have this overall ascending uptrend pattern. This SMA line, the green line, is pushing up, right? I think we could all agree on that. Now there's this resistance that has acted as a really strong price point or a really strong resistance right around 6:30, right? So right around this area, right around this area, right around this area. Look at all this resistance. It really struggles to hold above 6:15. It usually gets rejected, sells back off, bounces around the SMA line, and pushes back up again. Rides the resistance, sells back off around the SMA line, and then pushes up again. So it makes sense. You understand the pattern. You understand when something is a little bit more on the overbought side, and then also when something is a little bit more on the oversold side. So because of that, I would rather be patient, set my alert, and then wait for the sell-off and the reversal before actually taking a position on this one. So I wouldn't identify this one to be a good deal right now. It's really not one that I would want to focus on for this specific week based on previous patterns. So we got Jesse with ticker symbol DATA. All right, here we go. So the live chat's very active as of right now. And again, I'm trying to get through all of the tickers that are being called out. It just, obviously, I'm going to have some trouble to get through all of them. But as of right now, keeping it very simple. Ticker symbol DATA. Overall direction, look at the MACD, look at the RSI, it's selling off, right? It got rejected by this SMA line. Again, old support levels, as it used to bounce off the SMA line, is becoming a new resistance level, something that we have to be very well aware of. I'm going to set a closer an alert if it breaks above that 105 area, because as of right now, it's getting rejected, it's showing signs of a sell-off, and its overall direction is not showing signs of an uptrend. So I would rather focus on this when it's back to its ascending uptrend pattern and not selling off. So that's why I would personally stay away from this ticker as of right now, just because it wouldn't necessarily meet my criteria. And that's okay. If it doesn't meet mine, but it meets yours, all power to you. I'm just sharing my opinion, right? ADM, I think it was ADM. Yep, here we go. So what do we like and what do we not like about ADM right now? So overall direction, I think that's pretty solid, at least for my taste, right? Looking at the 20-day 1 hour, okay? And then looking at the 5-day 5 minute, a lot of consolidation that we experienced on Friday, right at the highs of around almost $50. Still below the SMA line, good deal, but still below the EMA line. I like it. So if we look at the 180-day, right? The thing that I like about this one is its overall direction. It's an ascending uptrend pattern, and to keep it very simple, it had a really good day on Friday, right? It pushed up and it held above this EMA line, but it's below this SMA line. So it might be a little bit too early, but it's definitely in that good deal range. It's just now we want to ask ourselves, now is it a good buy? So I can set my alert here for the break above $50, right? This one's showing signs of a potential reversal. I like the MACD, I like the RSI. And its overall margin of profit to its potential resistance right around 51 is not bad. It's about 2%. As long as you can manage a risk and the margin of profit outweighs the margin of loss, then it's up to you if you want to take the investment. So I think that this would definitely be one that I would consider watching a little bit closer. The margin of profit, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, 2%. 2% for it to fulfill and be a little bit more on the overbought side just necessarily isn't worth it for me. Do you guys get that though? Like overall, it's a $52. That's 4%. So I'll add it to my watch list. I just don't see this stock because of the opportunity cost, because of the margin of profit to really be worth it. And I think that's okay. It might be worth it for some people, and it might be not worth it for others. I trade stocks sometimes that have a much smaller margin of profit than others might find attractive to consider or give the time of day to, right? So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But yes, great call out on ADM. I like its overall direction. I would just be careful for better confirmation on the uptrend and then watch it closely if it continues to make higher highs or if it ends up getting rejected by the SMA line and then make lower lows. So something that we'll have to follow up with. Ticker symbol SQ. What's going on, Pascal? So ticker symbol SQ, I could see that, if I'm not mistaken, this is under my pullback watch list. Yeah, so this is a stock that was showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern, now very oversold. Again, its overall direction with the MACD and the RSI just isn't in my favor, right? So I'll set my alert here for when it breaks above the EMA indicator if it follows, but it's just been really struggling to make higher highs, and that's why I just don't want to give it too much attention. And I think we're seeing a lot of these patterns with a lot of tech companies, especially as of right now. So again, means that I just have to be a little bit more selective, and that's really just it. So what does the / mean in a stock? So the /, if you're talking about /SI, /NG, they're futures. So they're not stocks, they're futures based on certain commodities, right? So natural gas, right, NG for natural gas. We got SI for silver, we got GC for gold, and then we got CL for crude oil. So I trade a lot of ETFs, right? And I like to understand and watch their futures, so it gives me a better understanding. If you're part of the Learn, Plan, Profit course, then you know exactly how I trade them and how I utilize futures to trade ETFs. It's really what led to my success all last week when it came down to my trading for those, quick day trade positions and being able to understand how something was showing signs of an uptrend or a little bit more on the overbought side and maybe a better sell. It was all because I understood how to understand the patterns of the futures and I was able to leverage that to trade the ETFs. It was one of my biggest weeks. I almost cleared a little bit. I was a little bit under $5,000 profit for last week. Let's see, ticker symbol NOG. Let's see it, NOG. NOG, so overall SMA line is acting as a previous support. It's been making higher highs. As of right now, we're getting some consolidation right around this SMA line, right? So it is showing signs maybe of a potential reversal. So I would watch this one closely. I wouldn't be too quick to pull the trigger, as it has broken below the SMA line before and it dropped 20% below that. So let's be very selective. And yes, just as amazing as it is when it shows signs of an uptrend and how much margin it could cover, it could drop just as quick. This is a little bit of a lower cap stock, so that's just something that you want to be very well aware of. And if you're not comfortable with the pattern and you're not comfortable with understanding its direction, then guess what? One of the best things that you can do is simply not take a position. So we got ticker symbol YNDX. YNDX overall direction is very aggressive descending pattern, huge sell-off. I just personally would not feel comfortable trading something like this. This would be more of a dip buy potential, so something that we could follow up with. Yeah, it's just a high risk, a higher form of a risk when it comes down to trading, which is definitely something that's attractive for a lot of people. But I'm just not in the market to like make it or break it, right? The 20-day 1 hour, you can see this very aggressive sell-off that it had. This was on Thursday, and then which led to the Friday sell-off. So this would be something interesting to follow up with. So feel free to bring it up on Monday, and let's see how it ends up playing out. So Ryan Cho, what's going on? So calling out ticker symbol JNUG. So ticker symbol JNUG as of right now, so on the 180-day 4-hour chart, what is it that you guys see with ticker symbol JNUG? So doing an analysis on JNUG, what is it that all of you guys see? So we had this overall descending pattern. This SMA line was pointing straight down. We got a lot of consolidation for about almost 2 months. And then all of a sudden we started making higher highs, right? This direction then started to change. Instead of pointing down, and now it's starting to point up. And now if you look at its inverse ETF, which is JDST, now it's the opposite is forming, right? So now this thing is a little bit more showing signs of a descending pattern and trading below the SMA line. Looking at /GC, we kind of see the same thing happening, as it shows a very similar pattern to JNUG. So second higher highs, yep. Let's see. What's going on, Toko? Super happy to have you here. Okay, so I'm just going to share my opinion, since I guess you guys are very active in sharing your tickers, but not too active in doing an analysis with me. Ticker symbol LPP. What's going on, Adam? So as of right now, I would say JNUG to be a little bit more on the overbought side when it comes down to the margin that it has to the SMA line. I either think the SMA line needs to catch up to it, or it needs to sell off before it bounces and continues to make higher highs, right? So as something progressively shows signs of an uptrend, it makes higher highs, right? So it breaks resistance levels, and it also makes higher lows, meaning that it does this like upward staircase pattern. And as of right now, I just haven't seen that pull back right now with JNUG. It's been very bullish lately, and that's great. But that just means that, again, as it holds a little bit longer, like, yes, it can continue to uptrend, but then that sell-off, in my opinion, could be that much more aggressive, right? And as right now, I have alerts set both at the support at around $9 to its overall resistance right around $9.50 to try to have a better understanding of what direction it's going. So I would just be very well aware of how overextended it is. So if you would to consider to swing trade it, that would be a reason on why I wouldn't want to swing trade JNUG, because I don't understand which direction it's going as of right now, because it's so overbought. If you see day trade opportunity, all power to you. But other than that, I would just be a little bit more selective. So what's your overall opinion with the market and the volatility? I'll answer that question at the very end if that's cool. I'm just going to do a couple more breakdowns just for the team, and then I'll answer some open-ended questions if that's cool. So we got Raphael with ticker symbol ECYT. So ECYT, I'm just going to do analysis real quick. ECYT, definitely a huge push up, very overbought now, very overextended. Look at that MACD, look at the RSI. Again, Not a good deal. The only reason that I would probably trade something like this is due to FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. But other than that, it makes sense on why it would pull back before it continues to uptrend. So great call out, and I hope that you're able to lock in profits on this. So we got ticker symbol EE. What's going on, Wesley? Okay, we got ticker symbol EE showing signs of a previous uptrend, a lot of consolidation right below the SMA line. And based off previous patterns, this is where there's a general resistance area right around 60. So I would be a little bit more patient, and I think it's closer to a resistance than it is a support. So I would like to see higher highs and again higher lows as well. Watch out also for the earnings report. So ticker symbol ERX. ERX, again, a little bit more on the oversold side, maybe due for a potential reversal based off previous patterns. Again, be extremely selective and extremely patient. I'm just going to set my alert as I would hope for it to reverse soon. But overall, it's been getting rejected by this SMA line. So it didn't get rejected over here, but again, it has been acting as a previous resistance. So you have to, calculate what the margin of profit is, see if the opportunity cost is worth it, and if it ends up reversing and showing signs of a change of direction, then maybe something to follow up with or look a little bit more into. So we got ticker symbol GEL. GEL, very consistent in ascending uptrend pattern. I like its overall direction. Let's check this out. 1 day, 1 minute chart. 5 day, 5 minute chart. The volume is a little bit low, and that's for my taste, right? We could see that the overall lows, when it's a really good deal, it's really close to this SMA line. So I'm just going to set my alert. I want to focus on getting a really good deal, and just understand its direction, right? When it pushes up, it becomes overextended, sells off closer to the SMA line, pushes up, becomes overextended, not a good deal. Extended MACD, extended RSI, then sells off close to the SMA line. Overall reverse support has been met for the MACD as well as for the RSI. Again, good deal here. The MACD showing signs of a reversal. I'm close to the SMA line, and then we break above, we start making higher highs, and then that makes sense on why that would be a good investment. So I would love to follow up with the ticker symbol GEL when it's a really good deal. As of right now, not so much of a good deal, so I don't want to waste my time. So WTI, we already did a breakdown on WTI. So overall resistance right around $8. I want to start seeing higher highs, and also watch out for its overall earnings report. So again, it's a little bit more on the oversold side. Great, has a lot of margin to cover. Great, based off previous patterns, is a resistance right around $9. Something that we could look forward to once it starts making higher highs. Ryan, ticker symbol LABD. So LABD showing signs of, so I was trading this one last week. LABD and LABU, right? So as of right now, LABD looking like it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Had a really nice sell-off, bounce, starting showing signs of it trying to recover. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. I would really like to follow up with this one. I felt very uncomfortable holding either one of the positions for LABU, which is the inverse ETF. So it does the opposite of LABD. And the reason why is because I had such a difficult time understanding its direction. So I had an amazing day on Friday, and that's great. All power to you for those that were able to lock in profits. But then now we're brought down to the question, hey, is this thing overbought? Is it going to sell off? And should I lock in profits? And I, based on looking at the 180-day chart, then it makes sense on why it would be as it gets closer to that $35 resistance based off previous patterns, on why this would be a little bit more of a sell than a buy, right? Let's see. You guys have nothing but ticker call-outs today. I like it. It's keeping me busy, right? So on this 180-day analysis, you can see that overall, it's been showing signs of a very aggressive sell-off. The question that I want you to ask yourself every single time, right? You should never trade based on other people's opinion, but the question that I want you to ask yourself is, what's the direction that I want my account to grow, right? So if you have $1,000, and if you were to have an X and Y chart of where you want it to be in 1 year, you would want, the $1,000 to be your principal balance and to go and start showing signs of an uptrend and maybe be at $10,000, right? Maybe $50,000, $100,000 as it's pointing up, right? Its overall pattern and direction is up. How do you plan to grow your account when you trade stocks which directions are showing signs of a downtrend, especially for those that are new, that are just getting started? And it's much more difficult for a newer trader to be able to understand how to scalp something. So again, I'm just thinking big picture, how it's so important to understand its overall direction. So as of right now, yes, AMRX is showing signs of it being a good deal. I would be so much less focused on trying to buy at the lowest price point and so much more focused on, I want to invest in patterns that are going to grow my account. So yes, you want it to be a good deal. Yes, you want to make sure that you have a confirmation of an uptrend, but the biggest thing is that you understand its direction. And you have to ask yourself, do I understand the direction of what it is that I'm about to invest in? And is it the best investment that I can make right now? Or should I be a little bit more patient? And again, it's something that's going to become very difficult for you as time goes on, and you get more exposed to and become more aware of certain stocks that are trending, people posting their profits and showing that they're making 50, 100% return and stuff like that. That's just personally something that I find a very high form of risk, and I find that to be a very just aggressive way to approach the stock market. And I think that's why there's such a high failure rate of 90% of people lose money in the stock market. Why? Because they're so obsessed about all the hype, about all the demand, about what currently is trending. Why not just focus on what's going to grow your account? Again, this is not a market where you want to really make it or break it. If it is, then again, maybe my YouTube channel and my trading group is just not going to be the best for you. But if you're someone that really wants to understand its direction, the pattern, why it's a good deal, why we could sell it, for a profit, and understand the whole concept of investing, you'd be able to utilize that specific concept and skill set for the rest of your life in multiple different markets. So every time I get the question of how is it that I learned to invest in real estate? How is it that I learned to invest in cars? How is it that I learned to invest in on online stores, right? And buy and resell stuff? It was all because of the concept that I learned when it came down to investing in the stock market and the principles and the values that I needed to make sure every single good investment was made of. It all goes hand in hand. And again, you just have to ask yourself, are you here to invest and try to make the most money right now today to potentially discourage yourself for the future? Or are you someone that wants to continue to learn and implement everything that they learn as time goes on and actually fully flourish, right, in the future as well, and not just trying to make it or break it? Exactly. I like that, Romeo. We are deal hunters. That is exactly what it is. And just like TechBuds, right? TechBuds is the largest private trading community out there. It's free, right? And we started it with our sole focus of investing in any market. I don't trade Forex. I don't trade options. I don't trade cryptocurrency. But I never discourage someone to explore. I get a bunch of direct messages on Instagram all the time asking me, should they choose stocks? Should they choose Forex? I tell them to choose whatever market they think that they'll have a more of a better understanding for and a higher form of passion for. It's not that I could care less what market you choose. Of course, I would love to work with you when it comes down to investing in the stock market, but I don't want to be someone that holds someone back to explore another market. Do you guys get what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. It's really and truly focus on understanding every single investment that you take moving on forward. For all those that still have access to the stock market or to our criteria checklist that we gave out for free, you guys can download this, print this, have it on your wall. And one thing that you can add is simply remind yourself that you are a deal hunter. You are here to find the best deals to grow and make money. That is your number one focus, to understand what it is that you're investing in. Okay, so that was my tangent for the day, right? Ticker symbol DGAS. Overall, DGAS, again, it's doing a lot of consolidation. So overall, SMA line is trending down. No question about that. It's very oversold. So if you look at /NG, NG is very overbought. But again, it's really riding this support line as natural gas is really riding that resistance line. There is no confirmation of a reversal just yet. So I would be, again, if you see day trade opportunity, great. I'm going to day trade it probably too. But do I want to swing trade it? Probably not, because I'm having trouble understanding its direction. Let's see. CDNA. Okay, CDNA, I like this. So overall SMA line showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Based off previous patterns, looks like the $30 resistance was a previous resistance. And as of right now, let's see. As of right now, looks like it peaked out, hit highs of about $26, and is now looking a little bit on the overextended side. So pushed up, sold off, bounced, pushed up, showing signs of a potential pullback. So we might bounce back here around the SMA line. So I'm going to set my alert for this. Or if it starts and begins to make higher highs, then guess what? I'm going to set my alert, and then we could follow up with it then. So low volume. I'll try to speak up a little bit. Let's see, ticker symbol SILV. Okay, so you could tell that this thing has very low volume. It hasn't been trading for very long. This just would not be something that with the volume, there's not enough patterns for me to analyze just because the volume is also so low. And for the time that it's been trading, just something that I would find a little bit too risky. So I personally just wouldn't trade it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be the best at doing a technical analysis on these lower cap and lower volume stocks. Ticker symbol KR. So what's going on, Wilson? Thank you again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. So as of right now, ticker symbol KR, so this is Kroger, was showing signs of an uptrend. Now its direction has changed. The MACD is peaking out, now showing signs of a downtrend, something that you want to be very well aware of. I would set an alert here, and then I'll also set an alert to understand more of its direction. As of right now, it's been making lower lows, so that's why I would be very iffy about even trading something like this. So ticker symbol Billy, also get me back on Instagram. All right, I've been slammed with messages on Facebook, on Instagram, on Discord. We've been getting a lot of FAQs. Again, if it's anything that's stock related, please do not ask me on Instagram. I'm receiving so many messages now on Instagram about stocks. I'm just gonna have to stop responding. So again, any questions that you might have about stocks, please message me on Discord, like we've said in multiple videos, if that's not too much for me to ask. So Billy's showing signs of an overall potential reversal, right? The MACD is starting to reverse, so is the RSI. Overall resistance would be right around $14. So the EMA line is pointing down right now. I want that thing to start pointing back up, and then I want the pattern and the candles to be above this EMA line and not below it, right? So from $13 to about $14, margin of profit is a little bit over 7%, almost 8%. That's something personally that I find pretty attractive. So I would add this one just due to the reversal potential. I could follow up with it on Monday and see how it plays out according to the week. So let's see. You need a virtual assistant. Okay. ERI, let's check this out. ERI showing signs of a sell-off, descending RSI, descending MACD, a little bit more on, yeah, it's just showing signs of a direction that's pointing down. So I wouldn't be too focused on this one until it starts to really change its direction. So I'll set an alert and then I'll move on. Let's do about 2 or 3 more breakdowns and then we can go from there. So we got AKER. I want some really good stocks. Yeah, so this is all showing signs of a downtrend. I just don't like these lower cap stocks. So I'm sorry. I'm just going to move on from this. Lower cap descending pattern. It's trying to change its direction. I just don't think that it would be a good investment as of right now. GNTX. Again, please make sure that you use the ticker call out format. No, overall direction pointing down. No signs of a reversal just yet, so I'll set my alert, but other than that, I'm not too focused on that. Carb. Okay, again, overall direction is not pointing up. It's below the SMA line, so wouldn't necessarily meet that criteria. The MACD is overextended, so is the RSI, so it makes sense on why this thing would start to pull back before it begins to push up. So again, you see this resistance that it's been experiencing, showing signs of it being overextended, and then on Friday, the sell-off happens. So are we going to get a bounce now, or are we going to still continue to sell off? Something that we'll have to follow up with on Monday. Ticker symbol MCD. I'm going to go through these quick and until I find something. Okay, this one's not bad. So overall, I like its overall direction. Not so much of a good deal, but I like its direction, something that I could follow up with. So this is McDonald's, showing signs of an overall uptrend, becoming a little bit more on the overextended side. I'm just going to set a couple alerts for this potential reversal so I could focus more on it when it's a good deal. Looks like its earnings is coming up. So earnings is going to be on the 23rd. I'd be very, if you don't know, why I don't trade stocks during earnings, simply search that question on YouTube and I do have a video for it. Here we go, AXP. AXP, okay. Overall direction trying to show signs of an uptrend. I would like to see more overall confirmation of it making higher highs. So it looks like it received a positive catalyst due to its earnings report. So something that can act as a positive catalyst. Let's see. Ticker symbol CNET. Again, support around the SMA line. Overall, just, what is this, $4.77. Not showing signs. It's not making higher highs or anything like that. So, yeah. Nope. Overall direction pointing down. RVLT. Direction pointing down. Come on, guys. Pointing down. These are supposed to be the stocks that are showing signs of an uptrend as of right now. Okay, really nice push up due to earnings. Makes sense on why it pushed up, became very overextended. This is more of a sell than it is a buy, but super happy that hopefully it played out according to your plan. Okay, I like this one, Walt Disney, so DIS, showing signs of an uptrend. Very overextended, but I like its pattern, and that's what I find attractive. So I'm going to set an alert for the overall reversal, and then just add it to my pending reversal watch list. All right, looks like no one else is putting in the ticker call out format. So what's going on, Jason Walker? We already did a breakdown on ticker symbol KL. So overall, a little bit more on the overextended side. So I would set an alert here, right? And then I would wait for an overall pullback, as that would make a little bit more sense. But yeah. AMRS trying to show signs of a potential reversal, so I'm going to set an alert for that. I like the RSI. I like the MACD. I'm not sure about the RSI, so let's just be a little bit patient and selective on this one. It normally bounces right around this general area of the SMA line. We'll see if it starts making higher highs. So all right, I want to do one really good one, but I don't think overall direction is trending down. So Andrew, I wouldn't view that or identify that to be the best investment. Now, I just want to close it out with any open-ended questions. So if you guys have any open-ended questions that you guys want to ask me, feel free to ask me. As of right now, I'm not going to be doing any more ticker breakdowns. So I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. For those that were able to, at least come up. So I think I added 2 to 3 stocks that are now added to my active watch list, and about 4 to 5 that are in my pending reversal watch list. So one thing that I wanted to make sure that you guys all understand is the whole purpose of these Sunday stock talks are so we are all in tune of understanding that, you benefit from the idea of what the Sunday stock talks are wrapped around. And what I mean by that is, we have so many traders that are always looking for the top trending stocks that are hopefully, that they can trade. Yet they don't put in the work to plan out and identify what stocks are actually showing signs of an uptrend. They like to be told what to do. And I think that's one of the biggest red flags. If you're someone that likes to be told what to do and what to invest in, be very aware of how risky that could be, especially in the stock market. The reason that I like these Sunday stock talks is because it intrinsically motivates you to break down stocks in your watch list and that you came across this week that you can potentially be aware of, and then build that active watch list for this upcoming week. That's the whole point of these. The entire point is for you to actively be breaking down the stocks in your watch list and not being told what to do. So that's why we come together as a team and we share what we found. And that's why on Monday, on my second live stream, I share the stocks that I see actively trending up, and not just the ones that are being asked for me to break down. Do you guys get that? And that is so important. That quality, that habit of continuously on a weekly basis, minimum, to be breaking down stocks to see what's actively trending up. So, I just wanted to make sure that, we covered that, what the whole purpose was and stuff like that. So let's answer some, I'm getting a lot of questions as of right now, and I don't think I'm going to be able to answer all of them. And again, if you really want me to answer your question, you can direct message me on Instagram. So Hydro, if you post this one more time, I'm gonna have to remove you from the chat. So again, we're not doing any stock breakdowns right now. These are just open-ended questions. And then for all those that want to stay connected, you guys heard me talk about TechBot Solutions. That's our free trading community. That's that third link in the description. We have a little bit over 165,000 members. And then we also have a free group chat that's part of TechBuds. And once you get accepted to the Facebook group, it's provided for you on the top pinned post. The last thing that I want to let you know, as well as for all those that have joined us for Learn, Plan, Profit and that want to watch me trade live and as well have access to the LPP lesson library, then again, feel free to check it out. It's that first link in the description. And then that's where you get to work with me a little bit on a closer basis. Whoa. Sorry about that. I'm going to just close this just because I feel like people are just sharing inappropriate things to have it shared on the screen. So do you use any scanners outside of TD Ameritrade, like Trade Ideas? I personally do not, no. So I really don't like to, so the whole point of scanners, right, especially for momentum scanners, are to trade whatever's actively, being very like hyped up or active. I think that's great when you understand the concept of, scalping or momentum trading, but it could also be very risky because there's so much hype and like false news behind some of these like trending stocks. So I find it to be a higher form of risk of trading, especially for newer traders. So that's just my 2 cents. And again, to each their own opinion, right? Why don't you swing trade anymore? Just like I answered you or answered this question last week, and to answer the question that I received before, what do I think about the market volatility? I think the market has been very inconsistent, so it's been very difficult for me to understand what direction something is going to be moving for a number of days. I feel like it's been very, again, inconsistent. So if something is not showing signs of a continuous pattern, then why would I swing trade it? That's why although I've wanted to swing trade something, it's just because I want to doesn't mean that I should. Right? Because its direction and the pattern just isn't there. It just doesn't meet my criteria. I'm a little bit more selective with what I plan to hold overnight because I understand the risk of, how volatile the market has been lately. Let's see. So why don't you use Ameritrade to trade to stocks? Trade stocks. I do. That's the only platform that I use to trade. If you watch me, like my morning live streams for Learn, Plan, Profit, when they get to watch me trade live, I'm entering and exiting positions solely on my TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Okay, so Kenny, that's a pretty good question. So Kenny's asking, Ricky, do you find yourself entering a position without looking into its future of the company to get a better understanding of their product if their product is great? So I think you're asking me like, do I look a little bit more into a company besides just the technicals of my technical analysis? Usually I do not. Something that I do if I'm going to go in for maybe if I'm going to hold something for a longer period of time, for more than just one day, I'll look into the news. I'll see if there's any up and coming reports that might act as a positive or negative catalyst that would, really infringe on my swing trade. With day trades, I'm not so worried about those specific things, although I do want to be aware of, if there's any news that's going to be coming out, I can use the TD Ameritrade option to look into the news. But other than that, that's just not my style. It doesn't mean that you should not. Again, we're all wired in different ways, and that means that you might see value and do a little bit better when it comes down to fundamental analysis rather than technical analysis. So it's definitely something that you could explore. Why don't you trade cryptocurrency? I just don't. I'm so focused with trading stocks, and I do very well with it. So one thing that I have found a lot of people to do, especially as they're just getting started, is they go from wanting to trade Forex, then they want to learn about stocks, then they go into cryptocurrency, and then they go into options. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think people make, especially entrepreneurs as they're just getting started, is they want to dabble in every market, but not fully excel in any of them. And It's called like, I want to call it like entrepreneurship paralysis, right? You become so obsessed with wanting to be successful that you forget that you have to have a huge passion, a huge focus for these markets that you're taking on. And I think a lot of people would understand and agree with that, you know, sometimes it's very overwhelming to learn about so many different markets because there's so much to take in. So we got a question from Michael. What classes do you recommend? Do you know of any yourself? Michael, just to answer your question, are you asking what classes I would recommend in college? So let me know what you think. So I recommend swing trading, but I'm biased. Yeah, so again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So Rank Gaming, thank you again for tuning in. But as of right now, it's just, again, you're not here to impress me with your trades. I'm not here to really impress you with my trades. I don't benefit from you making money. You don't benefit from me making money, right? So that's why I think it's very important for each to be very selective with what we choose to invest our hard-earned money in. If it makes sense to you and why you think it's a good trade, all power to you, and I wish you the best. Same thing with myself, right? If I see value in something and I can make sense of it because of something that I'm analyzing, then great. If you have an opinion or something that you want to share on why maybe it's not the best investment, that's the whole point of networking. But I'm definitely not here to tell you, what style of trading is better, because again, we all do, we all perform differently. No, for learning about the stock market. So, Michael, your question is like what classes or courses maybe I would encourage you to explore to learn more about the stock market. And I want to be like as honest as possible. I'll end it with this one. So one thing that I wanted to cover, and it's actually something that I was talking to about my team today, right? We have Weston over, who's one of our partners for Flipping Wheels. He's visiting from Arkansas, and he's going to be here for the next, I think, 8 days. And we were just talking, seeing what we can do to provide more value for our members. And one of the questions that came up of like why I think that we've been doing so well within our growth of YouTube is because I'm not here to force anyone to you guys obviously know that I offer, our free Facebook group. It's called Tech Bud Solutions, right? Of course, I would love you to be a part of that. Of course, I would love you for you to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. And I offer also Learn, Plan, Profit, which is our private trading community, which is our course. And of course, it would be great for you to be a part of that. But I would only like you to be a part of that if you see value in it. And one of the things that I've said from the very beginning is, there's so many talented people online. There's so many talented traders online. But everyone is always so opinionated on who's better than others, or he makes more money than him. And I get that. It's always like a competition, and I'm always motivated by competition. But my biggest thing that I would focus on if I was someone that was just getting started, I'm no one to say that, hey, my course is going to be the best for you. No. I understand that I work really well with certain people, extremely well. You guys can see all the feedback from my videos. I also don't work very well with certain people, right? Same thing with yourself. There could be someone that's making $10,000, $15,000 a day investing in the stock market and might have a course, and that course will be the worst course that you ever take because the way that either he teaches or the way that he trades does not resonate with how you are wired, with how you make sense of things. And you have to understand that. How many of you guys have ever had a professor where he's an amazing professor or she's an amazing professor, but you just the information and the lectures just don't stick? Maybe you don't have a passion for it. Maybe it's just something that you're not interested in. Maybe it's just the way that they teach just does not resonate well with you, but your friend next to you is learning like no other. We are all wired in different ways. We all see value in different ways. I have a way that I share my information on my YouTube channel that works very well with certain people. That's why we're the largest YouTube channel for those who invest in the stock market. But just like many other people out there, they will say that, hey, my content I'm too conservative, right? Regardless of what someone might say of how they perceive me, some people just might not like me and just might not find my way of trading effective, or it doesn't make sense to them. That's totally okay. My biggest recommendation for anybody, for any entrepreneur, every investor. Work with people that uplift you. Work with people that work well with you. And work with people that motivate you to continue to push forward. There was a message that I received last week of this individual that said that she was part of another group that unfortunately was just very bashing, right? So yes, with its original purpose of that group, they worked well together, there's a lot of excitement, and then when things don't go according to plan and their true colors show, then the overall environment within that community, you can see if you're not welcomed and people try to bring you down for saying certain things, and yes, it happens from time to time, but one of the biggest focuses is being around people and surrounding yourself with people that motivate you every single day and that make you a better person. That's a true belief that I have. And again, that might not make sense to you. So yeah, 100%. So communication needs to be taught to our younger age generation. I 100% agree. The reason that I've been doing so well, not just with investing in the stock market, but all the different companies that we own on top of TechBud Solutions, with our real estate, with our investments when it comes down to online or e-commerce, is because of the team and the people that I surround myself with. You guys know that investing in the stock market is not the only market that I invest in, but one thing that I do very well is how I work and how we work with our team. So that's all I ask you guys to do. Work with people that motivate you, uplift you, and empower you. You could have access to the best course out there, but if it's just not something that you resonate well with, it will be the worst experience of your life. So as you're just getting started, test out the waters. See who you like and who you find attractive, not just by how much money they make, but how they empower you, how you make sense of the information that they share, and if it actually works for you. That's why paper trading is so accessible. And that's why I always encourage our people to start trading with paper trading, because there's no monetary risk, yet you get to practice everything that you learn. And that's really just it. So you should teach a class on self-discipline. I appreciate that, Dylan, that you think that I'm up to par with that, but discipline is still something. I mean, when it comes down to my overall work, I feel like I am pretty disciplined, but in general, when it comes down to maybe trading and discipline with my emotions, you guys know I share it multiple times. Sometimes I get too excited. I love trading so much that I tend to overtrade, and it's still a quality within my trading habits that I need to refine. So again, it's this process of always learning new things. I think that's what I'm really empowered by. I love surrounding myself with people that always teach me new things, that always keep me on my toes and always make me a better person. So Askia is saying, very new to this. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to help us newbies out. Oh, I hope you guys know that you guys don't have to do it at all. It was definitely my pleasure. So guys, thank you guys again so much for your time. I really hope that you guys learned something new and are really motivated to make this the best week ever. Again, don't be so focused and micro-focused on how much money you're going to be making this week, especially if you're just getting started. Focus on growth, both in your account and in learning new things, right? I think that would be, set a goal for 2 or 3 things that you want to achieve this week. And again, I would be, very less focused on the dollar amount and more focused on what you're learning and what you're implementing and what you're going to practice to be a better trader next week than you are this week. I think that's a great goal to have. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. You guys definitely don't have to like this video, but it would really mean the world to me if you guys did. And that's really just it. So all the links are down below if you guys want to stay connected. If you want to learn a little bit more about our private group for Learn, Plan, Profit, to be able to work with me every day on a closer basis, I would encourage you just take 1 minute, click that first link, learn a little bit more about what the course has to offer and if it's the best course for you. And I would love the opportunity to work with you and be a part of your success. So Don is saying, now I'm lying, you have to like it. So no, I'd appreciate it if you do. You definitely don't have to. So, all right, guys, thank you guys again so much. Let's kill it this week. Let's make sure that if you shared a stock and I just didn't see it, we have the group alerts and the watch list section within TechBud Solutions and Learn, Plan, Profit. Be sure to get your top stock this week that's actively trading up, post it there, tag me, and I'd be more than happy to give you my 2 cents. So thank you guys again for your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.